Sometimes some guys like to come on and make comments on my channel about, well, you women this and women that, and hating on women. And I don't like that, not just because I'm a woman, but because I'm not on here hating on men. At least I don't think that I am. And if anyone thinks I'm hating on men ever in something that I say, like men are this bad thing, I want you to call me out on it, okay? I don't think that women are superior to men or men are superior to women. I don't believe in that. I believe that we're equal in value yet different, and that there are dysfunctional people in both sexes. There are abusive men and there are abusive women. The abusive men tend to be lean more towards physical domestic violence, while the abusive women tend to be more like people like Amber Heard, or these women that end up poisoning their husbands or killing their children. They'll do things like poisoning. But there are also a lot of women that are like hysterical. They have borderline personality disorder, or they're narcissistic, or they like to go around playing victim or complaining. There's a lot of dysfunction in women too. This is why I only have a couple female friends. It's really hard to find women who are functional, who are authentic, who keep their word, and who are able to work on disagreements. Really hard to find people like that. And I have a very low tolerance for dysfunction. Likewise, there are a lot of men who are like, when it comes to men, I think of men more in a romantic way. And there I'm looking for them to be interesting or relational, or, I look for different things. But I'm not saying that women are better than men by any means. Now, when it comes to this divorce video on why women are more likely to file for divorce, the question really is, if the woman is more likely to be dissatisfied in the relationship, then there would be indicators of her dissatisfaction. I would imagine that she would be more moody, maybe more bitchy, more cold, more withdrawn, that she would turn her attention to other things like her friends, her work, her children. There would be signs of her disengaging from the relationship. There would be signs of that. And I think those signs would start and build up over time, over many, many years. Like in the last video I made about this, I showed an interview, and they were saying in there that it's very rare that a woman just comes in out of the blue and says, I'm leaving you. That's very rare. What is more likely to happen is that a woman grows dissatisfied in the relationship. She's dropping hints. The guy's not listening at all. And then he's surprised when she says, let's go to therapy, I want to leave you. And then he's just flabbergasted because he hasn't been listening. So I think women have to do a good job of speaking up. But my question is, if you're a man in a relationship and your woman starts distancing herself from you, what makes you think that's okay? I'm going to lay the blame here at the feet of the men who are defending the men as being like these victims of these women. And these men leaving those comments, I always say, like, are you married? They're never married guys. They're these guys that have been watching TikTok videos. And TikTok is a Chinese company. They're trying to ruin our society. Okay, I want to know what you see in rural life, among your friends, among your neighbors, among the people you work with. Or some of these guys, I don't think they leave the house. Because in actual relationships, people don't just readily leave them. Okay, you've got to split your finances in two. Like, that's a hard thing. Sure, there's some people who just take off. There are men who just take off. There are women who just take off. But it's very rare. What more likely happens is that there's one person dissatisfied in the relationship, and the other person is completely oblivious to it. And that's the problem. See, if a woman becomes unhappy in the relationship and she no longer wants to fuck you, she no longer wants to go out with you, She no longer wants to hold your hand, hug you, listen to you talk, go on dates with you, spend time with you, look in your eyes, and you don't think there's something wrong, then you're the guy with the problem. Now, I'm not speaking to most of the men watching my video. I'm speaking specifically to the men who are saying, it's just these women, it's coming out of nowhere. These women are so dissatisfied, they're just leaving. That's not how it happens. And a man who's attuned to the relationship is not going to be blindsided. It's the guys who are too busy working or they're tuned out. Now, is it difficult to maintain a relationship? Yes. It's difficult for the woman and it's difficult for the man. It is difficult for both people to maintain a relationship. However, if you have one person who's checked out and not even trying, I don't see how it's possible. And I think that because a lot of men were raised that feelings don't matter and they suppress their feelings, or they're not comfortable being assertive and speaking up because they're doormats or people pleasers, they are more likely to just be to put up with an unhappy relationship. They're less likely to be okay being alone. So they will put up with it. But here's the thing. If you notice that your wife is pulling away, talk to her. Find out what's going on. Don't avoid a conversation. You've got to lean in. You've got to take the lead. You've got to find out what's going on and have a conversation. Take a leadership role. Address the conflict. Address the issue. That's what has to be done. It takes courage. It takes vulnerability. And if more men would just do that and care about the health of the relationship and how they feel in the relationship, then marriages could last longer. I do believe so. I do believe a lot of marriages could be saved. Now, I do think that some women file for divorce because they married a guy that they were trying to change and he wouldn't change. And the reason, so that's one thing. But also the reason a lot of men stay in their relationship isn't because the woman gets everything in divorce court. That's not even happening. I want to see some data that shows that women are taking everything in divorce court, because the majority of men don't have anything to take. And courts no longer give women sole custody. This is a different world. It's all joint custody now. Everybody I know that's divorced, it's all joint custody, equally split. And in a lot of cases, there is no alimony or child support because both people are making the same amount of money. So some people are just, like these MGTOW guys are just living in a fantasy world. Like they're just spinning, they're like schizophrenic or something. I want to see some data. But also, a lot of men, when they're unhappy in their relationship, they'll have an affair or they'll do a pay-to-play situation. So they'll go somewhere else and get their sexual needs met so they can stay in the relationship. Because they don't really care that much. If the wife doesn't want to have sex, they'll put up with it. They'll just go out and cheat. So that could be another theory why men are willing to stay. And also, men are less likely to want to be alone. I've heard so many men tell me, I'm so unhappy in my marriage, but I'm in my 50s now, I'm in my 60s now, I don't want to start over. Whereas a woman is more likely to say, I'm so unhappy in this relationship, I would rather be alone than be in this relationship. And that's where it comes to sex. Women are the same way with sex. I would rather have no sex than have sex with just any random guy or have bad sex. I would rather not be in a relationship than be in a bad relationship. Whereas men are not that choosy. They'll stick out a bad relationship. They'll go for the bad sex. They're just not that choosy. So the key is to know all this. And if you want to maintain a relationship with a woman, you have your work cut out for you. And that's one thing I really like about the interviews I've done with Dad Starting Over. DSO, he wrote a book called The Dead Bedroom Fix. And he says, if you want a long-term monogamous relationship with a woman, you have your work cut out for you. But the things that you have to do as a man to be a man that your woman will keep wanting, okay, are the things that will make you a better man. Like staying fit, having something going on, not being a doormat, and also tuning, I'm going to add tuning into your woman and making sure, nurturing the care of the relationship, not being a doormat, but nurturing the care of the relationship. So this is my second attempt to make a video about why men are more willing to stay in an unhappy relationship. Okay, and in short, it's because they're emotionally avoidant, so they don't care that it's bad. They're emotionally avoidant. Or they're afraid to be alone. That's why they will stay in the unhappy relationship. But the woman who wants an emotional connection, and she's okay being alone if the relationship is so bad, after years and years and years of that, she's going to be out. And the guy is rarely surprised. So you as men have it up to you to address this, because there are signs that she's unhappy. There are definite signs over a period of many years. And that's what I want to say. And I would love to hear from more women. I'm trying to get more women on my channel, because I want to get rid of these MGTOW guys, because they're like, feel very invasive to my space of trying to explore things, because I spend so much time having to address their concerns. And they're kind of like negative energy on my channel. So I don't really want them. I would like to have more women leaving comments, and all the good guys on here too that leave comments. I want comments that are actually helpful and help us learn, rather than stuff that's repeated off like some MGTOW or incel rabbit hole that's not even based on reality. And there's no male bashing or female bashing or name calling allowed on this channel. So please just, share your experience, or contribute some data, or your own experiences, or your own dreams, or something. Okay, let's just be respectful here. Thank you for watching.